Brigadier Geninda, just before we proceed, there's a portion that we wanted to put on record in paragraph 15.1. Sorry, it's on page 4 of the Proforma Exhibit HH.
What paragraph number?
15.1.
Yes, I've got it, my lord.
Yes, just
Should I place it on record? Okay.
Yes.
15.1 reads as follows. As you are still prepared to make a statement, I would like to know your source of information regarding the proposed statement you wish to make. What is then handwritten, my lord? It says, I was involved in the crime scene.
Thank you.
Lana ke u15.1 acelwayo ke ufakaza ukuthi awufunde uthi ke nanjengoba usayimisele ukwenza istatement ngifisa ukwazi noma ngicela ukwazi ngathanda ukwazi ukuthi ke le information onayo ibuya kuphi noma lo lwazi onalo libuya kuphi mayelana ke nestatement lesi ofisa ukuthi usenze. Impendulo ke ebhaliweke ngepen ithi ngangikhona ke noma ke yebo ngangikhona ke lapho kwindawo leyo yesigameko.
And when you read the portion which state, I went in with Carlos and others took their positions as discussed during the planning. When we entered the house, Carlos shouted in isiZulu, Panzi, imali, and my cell phone. You mentioned that some of the witnesses do mention this fact.
That is correct, my lord.
Ngishilo ukuthi abanye bofakazi ke bakusho lokho ngoba lana ifundeka ngokuthi ke uma sesingena ke ngaphakathi endlini uCarlos wase ememeza ke ngesiZulu wathi phansi imali nama cell phone. Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho.
We wish to refer you to the evidence of Mr.
I think it needs to be put in a proper perspective. The question to the witness is in relation to Carlos. And the confirmation is to the effect that that is what the witness said. Did the witness said that is Carlos who said that, or is the person who they said was wearing some dreadlocks who said that statement? I think it needs to be put in the proper perspective.
Yes, sir.
I'm really baffled. I don't understand that objection. We're putting on record what is stated. It is no one else but my learned friend who said we shouldn't travel beyond what is in the statement. Now, we read out what is stated here. Now, he wants us to put an interpretation to a statement, which he said we mustn't do. But be that as may, my lord, I think it is a perfectly permissible question to the witness, just to quote the context of the confession and to ask him to
Yes,
to
proceed.
comment.
Let's hear you.
As a court pleases. Now, we wish to refer you to the evidence of Mr. Twala, Mtokozizi Twala,
Yes.
given on the 2nd of August 2023 at page 37 from line 16 to 22. If you can just place that evidence on record.
Yes, indeed, my lord. It is page 37 of the record of the 2nd of August, yes, 2023. Mr. Twala, as I say that person, the first person that appeared from the person appeared to here. Mr. Baloyi, the witness pointing to the opening again. Mr. Twala, what then happened when this person appeared? This person must behind Kelly. Marod, I'm reading it verbatim here. This person must behind Kelly, and then what I did is I looked at Senzo. What I remember is that the person demanded phones and money.
Lana ke ufunda ke ubufakazi bakhe uMthokozisi Thwala bange-2 zika August ngo-2023 nanjengoba ngishilo ke loyo muntu loyo umuntu wokuqala owavela ke umuntu ke owavela uMnumzana Baloyi ufakazi ke ukhomba ke la ekuvulekile khona futhi uThwala okwenzeka ke ukuthi uma lo muntu evela lo muntu lona emuva kokhevi ngase ngibheka uSenzo engikukhumbulayo ukuthi ke umuntu loyo wafuna amafoni nemali.
Then the evidence of Ms. Zandi Khumalo given on the 21st of July 2023, page 17 of the record, lines 9 to 12, in cross-examination by Advocate Nisi. Can you just read?
Yes, my lord. So I'll start with the cross-examination by Mr. Mnisi. Then one of them says he produced a firearm in front of you and he says money and cell phones. But he is saying that in Zulu. Ms. Khumalo, yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Lana ke uadvocate Mnisi ke ebuza yena ke uZandi Khumalo wabe omunye wabo ke esho wakhipha ke isibhamu phambi kwakho wabe sethi imali nama cell phones kodwa ekusho lokho ngesizulu yebo kuyiqiniso.
Then just on this, lastly on this aspect, the evidence of Mr. Tumelo Madlala on the 7th of August 2023, page 16 of the record, from line 5 up to 8. Can you just place that on record?
Indeed, my lord, it reads as follows. Under Mr. Madlala, he had dreadlocks on the head and was also wearing a hat. Now, one thing that he actually wanted was the phones and the money, and with the wielded firearm and big eyes or widened eyes.
Okay.
Lana ke ufunda ubufakazi bakhe uTumelo Madlala bange-7 August 2023 yebo into eyodwa ke awayeyifuna kwaku ama cell phones kanye nemali futhi ke ephethe ke isibhamu enamehlo ke amakhulu noma enamehlo yebo amakhulu noma ke amehlo ke aqhamile.
Then in just above that paragraph that we have quoted, the following
Sorry. Oh, I didn't read. Oh, wayenama dreadlocks ekhanda futhi ke ethwele nesigqoko. Sorry.
Just above that portion that we've just quoted, there's a portion that says, I went in with Karos and others took their positions as discussed during the planning. When we entered the house, Karos shouted. You've explained how you connect that name to accused number 3, is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Lana ke kunale ndawo athi sangena ke endlini mina ke noCarlos uCarlos wasememeza ke ubusushilo ke ukuthi leli gama ulihlanganisa kanjani nomsolo wesithathu yebo kuyiqiniso.
In this regard, we wish to refer you to the evidence of Constable S. Zungu on the 8th of September 2023 from line 18 to 21, continuing to page 43, line 1 to 4. Can you place that on record?
I'm baffled to use the state's word as to what is it that the state is actually trying to demonstrate here. Is it trying to indicate that this confession should also be, or the content of the confession should also be used as against the other accused that are mentioned here? Because it keeps on referring to the other accused. The law is very specific, my lord, that it can be used. But now I'm I'm just wondering, what is the relevance of keep on referring to the names of the other people whose names are also mentioned in the confession? If the aim is not to have the confession used against them, maybe the state needs to explain that, because from where I'm standing, all that the state is doing here constitutes irrelevant and inadmissible evidence.
No, that's not how I understand
Yes,
the
my lord.
evidence.
Yes.
The law is clear, as we all know, that the
As it is
confession
the
can be
court.
used against
Yes.
another co-accused. But
Yes.
there's nothing debarring the state from quoting what the confessor said
Yes.
in the presence of whoever.
Yes, my lord.
That's a
But now,
different aspect.
then what's the purpose for that?
I don't know, you must ask him.
That is the reason why I'm standing up, my lord. Exactly.
Indeed, my lord, we have put on record the proposition by Mr. Mgumezulu, who says that Brigadier Gininda came with a statement that was already written, and a name is mentioned here. Now, we're just referring to the record, my lord, to indicate the origin of the name, that it has got nothing to do with Brigadier Gininda, but just to merely explain what the source of that name is. We're not saying that evidence is admissible against accused number 3. We're just quoting the passage to show the origin of the name. That is the whole purpose.
Yeah, well, let's
Yes.
continue, sir.
As a court, please, can you just place that on record?
Okay, so it reads as follows, my lord. He introduced Carlos, who is known to me as Gadla, whose real name is Mtobisi Ngube, and also referred to him as Buthelezi boy.
Yeah, you can just.
Lana, sorry.
Yeah, you can just
Go
proceed
over.
to the next page.
Okay, sorry.
Buthelezi boy, whose real, okay,
The next page.
yeah. Just it starts. I want to start where it starts. The sentence. I did not need an introduction to Musica Ukulela Sibiya. Carlos, known as Gadla, whose real name is Mtobisi Ngube, and we referred to him at times as Buthelezi boy, and
Yes.
Sinakona.
Yes, thank you. That's enough. Thank you.
This is Zungu. Lana ke statement lesi sika S Zungu wethula noma ke awamethula ke kumina uCarlos engimazi na njengogadla, igama lakhe ke la ngempela kuMthobisi Ncube, futhi ke uma ebizwa kuthiwa umfana kwaButhelezi. Sasingekho ke isidingo sokuthi ke ethule umuzi kaUkhulelwa Sibiya, uCarlos engimazi na njengogadla, igama lakhe ke la ngempela kuMthobisi Ncube, futhi ke uma simbiza ke sithi umfana akaButhelezi no Sinakhose Sibiya.
Thank you. We can then continue from where you stopped just before the long adjournment. You were at a sentence that starts, while I was still.
Then it reads as follows, my lord. This is now after the sentence where that says we entered the house. Carlos shouted in Zulu, "Phansi, imali, ne ma cell phone." I started collecting cell phones and cash that was in the container. While I was still busy, Senzo jumped to Carlos, and the struggle ensued where one shot went off and the second shot hit Senzo as the firearm was pointed at his chest.
Ngase ngiqala ke mina ukuthi ke ngithathe ke ama cell phones kanye futhi nemali ke eyayi kwi container, ngathi ke ngisakwenza ke lokho uSenzo wase esejompa ke eya ku Carlos, ilapho ke ebalwisana khona ke saqhuma ke isibhamu uma ke sesiqhuma okwesibili ke sashaya uSenzo nanjengoba ke isibhamu lesi sasikhombe kuyena esifubeni.
Yes.
I ran out with the money and the cell phone, leaving Carlos behind while Mapisa ran into the house. I then proceeded directly to the Silver Polo, parked. I waited in the car with Ngani.
Ngase ngigijima ke mina ke ngaphuma nemali kanye futhi ke ne cellphone ngashiya uCarlos ngasemuva ngaleso sikhathi ke noma yila khona ke uMapisa yena ke wasegijima ngena ngaphakathi ke endlini ngaqhubeka ke mina ke ngaya kwipolo esilver eyayimi lapho ngalinda ke emotweni naye unkani.
Now, Brigadier, did you know about all these facts? For instance, that the firearm was pointed at Mr. Senzo Meyiwa and a shot went off and hit him in the chest?
I did know that he was shot on the chest, my lord, but as to the facts, as to who, like he's referring the name Carlos, my lord, I didn't know those facts. What I knew is that the deceased was shot. There was an entry and exit wounds, and those were the facts that were contained on the first day of the incident. That's all I knew, but not insofar as the names of the perpetrators.
Engangikwazi ukuthi nje uma ufike wadutshulwa ke futhi ke nokuthi ke kunala inhlamvu yangena khona kwaba nala inhlamvu yaphuma khona ke kodwa ukuthi ke amagama obani ke abakwenza ke lokho nanjengoba lana ke libizwa ke igama Carlos ngangingakwazi lokho.
I also did not know that Mapisa went in after they went out, my lord. I did not know this. There was nothing, it was never contained in the docket.
Nokuthi ke futhi ke emuva kokuthi yena ke sephumile uMapisa wangena ngaphakathi ke ngangingakwazi lokho kwakungekho kwidokodo.
And about running out with the money and the cell phone?
My lord, what I knew is that the cell phone of Ms. Kelly Kumalo was taken. I was not aware of the money because none of the people who were inside the house mentions that. All they say there was a demand of cell phones and money, and we know that the cell phone belonging to Ms. Kelly Kumalo, the one that Ken Lestein referred as a runaway phone, I've testified about it, my lord, in terms of the location. That is how far I knew about the phone that was taken, and that's all.
Engangikwazi ke ukuthi yona ke cellphone yakhe uMiss Kelly Khumalo yayithathiwe ke kwahanjwa nayo ke kodwa ngangazi lutho ke ngemali akukho ke nakubantu ababephakathi ke endlini abekho noma akekho owakusho noma owakhuluma ngakho lokho ngangazi kuphela ngale cellphone yakhe ke uMiss Kelly Khumalo ekuyiyona uKen Lestein futhi ke athule ubufakazi ngayo.
Yes, you may proceed.
Then Mapisa then went to the Silver Polo was parked. I waited in the car with Nkani. Within a short period of time, I was joined by Carlos, Muzi Sibia, and Mapisa. We then left for Phosphorus Hostel. Carlos took the cash and the cell phone from me.
Kwisikhathi njena esifishane ke emuva kwalokho ke kwase kufika ke uCarlos Musisibiya kanye noMapisa sase sihamba ke siya ehostel eFosloras. uCarlos wasethatha kumina ke imali kanye ne-cell phone.
Did you know about these facts that are stated here?
No, I did not know, my lord.
Ingaba lokhu okubhalwe lana wakwazi yini? Cha, ngangakwazi.
And there's mention of a silver polo. Says I then proceeded directly to the silver polo. Where it was parked.
My lord, no, I did not know. What I knew at this stage, because we already had the confession statement of accused 1, he referred to a white polo, so I had no knowledge of a silver polo. This was the first time this was brought to my attention. In other words, during our interaction and subsequently it was then documented in this exhibit H.
Ngangazi lutho ke ngepolo eyayisilva ngombala ngalesi sikhathi ke sase nayiso ke istatement sakhe umsolo wokuqala yena ke wakhuluma ngepolo emhlophe ngangazi lutho ke ngale esilver ipolo.
I also did not know that accused 5 was the driver because it was not mentioned in the previous confession, my lord. It's a different name which we followed and found that that person was in prison. It's what was given to us by accused number 1, not that accused 5 was the driver.
Okunye futhi ngangakwazi noma esasingakwazi ke ukuthi umsolo wesihlanu uyena owaye umshayeli engangikwazi ke ukuthi ke kwakuomunye umuntu ke noma ke elinye igama elanikezwe uyena umsolo wokuqala lo sathola ukuthi lo muntu leyo ke wayesejele ngaleso sikhathi leso kodwa hayi ukuthi kwakuumsolo wesihlanu kwakuyena wayeshayela.
We've already referred you to the evidence of Constable Zungu as he testified on the 8th of September 2023, page 43, from line 19, if you can just put that on record, from line 19 up to page 44, the first and second lines.
Yes. Indeed, my lord, line 19 reads as follows. At about 3 p.m., Sinakosa Sibiya approached me and told me that Ngade Sifokuhle Ntuli Zungu. Ntuli is stating that I removed my vehicle because he wanted to go out as I have parked behind his vehicle and blocked his exit. I was driving a state unmarked vehicle VW Polo and Gadeni was driving a silver gray hatchback Volkswagen Polo. Yeah.
Isikhathi ke kwakungo 3 uSinakho Sibiya weza kumina ke wangitshela ukuthi ungade sifiso kuhle Ntuli Zungu Ntuli uthi ke angisuse imoto yami ngoba ke ngangime noma wayefuna ukuphuma ke nanjengoba ngangiphake noma ngime emuva kwemoto yakhe futhi ke ngimvalele ukuthi ke aphumeke ngangihamba mina ke ngemoto engabhaliwe noma ke engamakhiwe kahulumeni noma ke estate iVW iPolo ungadeni yena ke wayeshayela noma ke ehamba nge hatchback esilver gray ngombala iVolkswagen iPolo.
Yes, you may proceed with the statement. You can start from within a short period of time.
Yes, I just want to. Okay. Carlos took out the cash and the cell phone from me. At the hostel, I received an amount of 15,000 rands cash. I then left with Nkani to Johannesburg, where I slept over. The following day, Nkani took me to Davidton, where I stayed for some days. Nkani later returned and took out an amount of 30,000 and gave me. Can I read? Okay. He further directed me to the taxis to my residence. As there was dissatisfaction about the money, it led to a meeting to be held in the homelands at Emahlabatini. It
Yes.
escalated.
It's fine. Just
You can wait to the end, it's fine.
now, did you know about this fact about the money that is being mentioned here?
Okay, yeah, shut up. Sorry. Uma sesifika khona ke ehostel ngathola ke imali noma ke isamba ke semali esi15,000 ngase ngihamba naye ke unkani saye eGoli eJohannesburg la engalala khona ke ngesuku olandelayo ke unkani wasengithatha engihambisa eDavidton la engachitha khona ke insuku ezimbalwa unkani ke wase ebuya ke wakhipha ke imali engango 30,000 wanginikeza yona. Okay, wase engikhombisa futhi ke nama taxi aya la engihlala khona ke nanjengoba kwakukhona ke ukuthi ke ungagculiseki mayelana ke nemali lokho kwaholela ekuthini kube nomhlangano obakhona emakhaya emahlabathini o emahlathini ngendlela ekubhalwe ngayo la. Uyabuza ke manje umshushisi ukuthi wawazi ke yini ngale mali lena.
My Lord,
If I may ask you not to refer to any hearsay evidence referring to the meeting in Emahlabathini, you may proceed.
Ngizocela ke ungakhulumi ke ngomhlangano ongazi lutho noma into abathi ke yinzwa bathi mayela nomhlangano lo wasemahlabathini.
indeed, my Lord. So, my Lord, I did not, what I knew about the money, it was insofar as the confession statement that was made by accused one. Because this confession exhibit double H came after the statement of accused number 1. So insofar as him alluding that there was money paid, but he didn't mention accused number 2. I only know insofar as that is concerned, but insofar as what is contained in exhibit double H, I did not know that information, my Lord.
Mayelana ke nemali ke akukho ke engangikwazi mayelana nemali lokho okwakushiwo ke uyena ke umsolo woqala kwesakhe istatement ayisenzile ngoba lesi sona ke seza emuva kokuthi unumber 1 esenze esakhe ke futhi ke ekhuluma ngaye engakhulumi ke ngonumber 2. Manje ke lokho okushiwo ke la ngemali ke yatholakala ngangingenalo ulwazi lwalokho.
My Lord, it's also prudent to mention that at the time when I took control of the docket, the impression that we've got, this is now before focusing on this accused, it looked as if it was a robbery that went wrong because the essence of the statements that are in the docket, which is available into the defense, seemed to suggest that people were in to rob or demanded cell phones and money, and there was a struggle and the gunshot went off. So if one looked at it, it really looked like that. Now, this information that was now clearly indicating that this may have been a contractual killing, it was the first time it was brought to my attention, my Lord.
Futhi ke uma ngabe ngangibheka ke noma ke idokotela likumina ke ngokwalokho engangenalo kulona noma ke information eyayikhona kulona kwakubukeka ngongathi ke kwakuwabantu laba ke ababezobamba ke inkunzi kodwa ke lokho akuhambanga kahle ke kwase kuqhuma ke nesibhamu kodwa manje ke uma vela ke manje lena ke imininingwane ke ila manje esekubonakala khona ukuthi cha ke lana ke kwakuwabantu lana ke abanikezwe ke umsebenzi noma ekiwe kubona ke kwathiwa abazokwenza ke lo msebenzi ukuthi ke kube nomuntu ozobulawa uma ngabe sekufika lena information esasingenayo.
Yes, you may proceed. It escalated.
Yeah, I just want to find the sentence, my Lord. Yes. Okay, it escalated to such an extent that Muzisibia had leaked information about the incident. Open bracket, murder of Senzo Meyiwa, close bracket. Njabulo and Lulema had an argument.
Lulama.
This one looks like Imalo, so I'll say Lulama. I was trying to quote it as it appears, but yeah, Lulama had an argument with Muzisibia, whereby a meeting was convened by the family, headed by Moses' father. He told them to keep quiet about the incident of the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. The family agreed about the conspiracy to keep quiet about the incident. The matter was never reported to the police. I then left for Carltonville and later to Rustenburg.
Lokho kwasekunyukela ke ngaphezulu noma lokho kwaseku mase kukhulunywa ke kwafinyelela ke la khona ke ukuthi ke noma ke kuvela ke ukuthi umuzi sibiya yena ke kukhona ke awakusho noma wakhuluma mayelana nesigameko lesi ukubulawa kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa unjabulo kanye nolulama bona ke baba nokuthi ke baphikisaneke noma baxabaneke lapho kanye naye ke umuzi sibiya la khona ke umhlangano kwaba nomhlangano ke umhlangano bizwa uwona ke umndeni umhlangano lowo ke noma ke owawuholwa uyena ke ubaba kamuzi wabe esebatshela ke ukuthi ke bathuleke bangasho lutho mayelana nesigameko sokubulawa kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa umndeni wavumelana ke ngaloko ukuthi ke akuthulwe mayelana nesigameko lesi futhi ke udaba lolu alukaze lukhulunywe noma ke lubikweke emaphoyiseni ngase ngihamba ke ngiya eCarltonville kamuva ngaya eRustenburg.
Now, Brigadier, are you in any way the source of this information in this last paragraph as it was suggested by Mr. Ngomezulu?
No, my lord, I did not even know accused two, as I said. I mean, the only thing I knew was the names as per the affidavit of Absalom Zungu. And prior to that, I did not know him, my lord. Nor did I know what he would even tell me. So I'm not the source. I didn't know all this information.
Ingaba lokhu ke okubhaliwe lana egcineni ke oqeda ufundwa ke manje ngaba wena ke oweza ke nalokho noma nale information ke cha manje bangishilo ukuthi ke umsola wesibili ke ngangingamazi ke futhi ke amagama ukuthi ngwazi ke noma ngiwezwe ke i-statement noma ke affidavit le yayenziwe uyena ke uAbsalom Zungu futhi ke ngangazi ke nangalokhu ke okubhaliwe khona la.
Thank you. If we can then look at the next exhibit, Exhibit Triple J, statement that was made before Magistrate Gronier, as you've already put on record, on the 24th of June 2020 at 14:30. You mentioned that you received the previous exhibit, Exhibit HH, from Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu 2 days after it was made. What happened thereafter?
My lord, then it was filed in the docket, and then it was the following, or rather the following of the information that was contained in terms of the collaboration of these exhibits.
Manje ke ushilo ukuthi kusemuva kweinsuku ezimbili uyolanda ke istatement kuyena ke uLieutenant Colonel Rapadu wasekwenzekani ke ila engasifaka khona ke kwidokodo nokuthi ke manje ngilandeleleke ulwazi ke noma ke information leyo ke ngokuthi ke ukuthi ubheke ukuthi ihlangana kuphi ke.
My lord, then on the 23rd, and I've testified about this also, so I'll not want to repeat myself, my lord, that on the 23rd of June 2020, that's when I came across Mr. Mjiaho, Advocate Mjiaho, who at the police station, after I received a call, I've testified about it, my lord, with accused number 2, and it was out of those discussions and with the state that then arrangements were made that this document, Double J, should then be made, my lord.
Kwakunge 23 zika June 2020 muva kokuthi ke ngihlangane naye ke uMr Mjiago epolice station ekhona ke umsolo wesibili ke emuva kokuthi ngithole ucingo ke emuva kwalezo inkulumo leso kanye futhi ke nombuso emuva kwalezo inkulumo lezo ke ila ekwathathwa khona ke isinqumo ukuthi ke akuwenziwe ke istatement lesi ekhulunywa ngo Double J.
If we can just maybe briefly once again revisit those facts, what happened on the 23rd of June 2020, or what led to you going to the police station?
My lord, my recollection, I received a call from the cells, one of the sales officers who indicated that there was an attorney who wanted to consult with accused number 2. So they wanted basically permission if they can allow him. During that time, my lord, we were still under the COVID-19 regulations.
Just a minute.
Kwenzeka kanjani ke ukuthi ke ubese uhlangana naye ke uMjiago police station ngathola ke ucingo elakubuya ke komunye ke kwalabo abasebenza ke kuma cell eshoke ukuthi kunommeli okhona ke office ukuthi ke akhulumisane ke nomsolwa ke owesibili ngaleso sikhathi leso ke ilesikhathi ke lesi ke esasiphansi ke kwayo ke imithetho yayo iCovid-19.
I allow them, my lord, to say they should permit him because he's a legal person to consult while I was making my way to the station to verify his status, which is what I've done, my lord.
Ngaba ngasho ke kubona ukuthi ke abamvumeleke ukuthi ke akhulumisane ke noma ke aconsult naye ke ngoba ke kwaku ummeli ngaleso sikhathi leso ke mina ke ngangisendleleni eyakhona lapho ke epolice station ukuyoqinisekisa ke impela ke ukuthi ke ubani yena into leyo engayenza.
What is prudent, my lord, to mention is that when I arrive at the cells where accused one and this gentleman, it was the first time for me to see him. I've never worked with him or seen him before, my lord. It is accused number 2, sorry, not accused number 1. It is accused number 2 who stood up and as I was approaching and said, "This is my attorney."
Engakwenza ke mangifika ke khona lapho ke epolice station le noma kulawo masel lawo ke ngizokhulumisana noma ke ngifuna ukwazi ke ummeli loyo kwaba umsola ebethe eqala ke ubrigadier uaccused 1 kodwa ke siyalungisa ukuthi cha ngikhuluma ngomsola wesibili kayi umsola wokuqala uyena umsola wesibili owasukuma ke wathi ummeli wami lo.
My lord, after the introductions between ourselves and this gentleman obviously introducing himself and saying he's got instructions, I asked him to identify himself. And I do recall that I went outside to check his status because he gave me the South African ID, the copy and the document that was coming from the Legal Practice Council, which obviously when I went out was to confirm indeed that if he was an attorney and such was confirmed, my lord.
Engakwenza ke ukuthi ke manje ke lo ubhuti lona ke noma ke ummeli lona ke lo owayesho ukuthi ummeli ukuthi wanginikeza ke umazisi wakhe ke wanginikeza ke nephepha noma ke idocument eyayibuya ke eLegal Practice Council LPC ngase ngiphumela ngaphandle ke ukuyokwenza leso siqinisekiso ke ngempela ke ngathola ke ukuthi uyena ummeli.
My lord, I also recall that the discussions with the attorney, obviously when I returned, went to insofar as him wanting to know who were the state representative insofar as the NPA is concerned. And the name of Advocate Baloyi, Advocate Leonard, and Advocate Mapata, those were the people that I gave him to say these are the state representative on the side of the NPA who are dealing with this matter. There was then engagements, my lord, as I said, that resulted in the arrangement of the 24th where this confession was then taken.
Wase efuna ukwazi ke ukuthi obani abamele umbuso ngase ngimnikeza ke amagama abo ke uadvocate Baloyi, advocate Leonard, advocate Makwate ngathi ke ibona ke abamele umbuso ngakuhlangothi lwayo ke iNPA ila khona ke manje kusekuqala khona ke ingxoxo ezaholela ekuthini ke kube nalesi statement lesi ku-exhibit JJ.
Now, the letter that you referred to that you say you received from Mr. Mjiako, is that correct that in the trial, within a trial, it was handed in as exhibit YY?
Indeed, my lord, it was actually handed in as exhibit YY, and then later there was also YY2, because there was a condition of the other one where I said I don't see the signature correctly, and the court ordered that we must give it in. So it was YY1, and then there was YY2. That's the letter in question, my lord.
Lona ke lencwadi sikhuluma ngayo ke yakhe ke umjiyako ke kwaba uma indluliso lenkantolo njengobufakazi ke kwaba exhibit uYY YY1 no YY2.
Now, whose initiative was it that, as you put it, that a process should be put in train that resulted in exhibit JJ?
It was from the accused, my lord, and the counsel. As I said, I was asked who are the NPA representative, and through those discussions of the understanding, there was some form of understanding where I've been duly advised that because it was not concluded, I cannot go into, my lord. But because of those discussions and understanding, then the process kicked in for JJ1, and subsequently there were other discussions that followed after that, my lord.
Ingaba ke kwakubuya kubali ke ukuthi ke kuze sekuholele ekuthini kube nale statement kwakuyena ke umsolwa kanye nommeli wakhe ke ila khona ke engishilo ukuthi babuza ke noma wabuza ke ummeli ukuthi obani abamele umbuso ngase nginikeza ke amagama ila ingxoxo ke ezaqala khona ke ezaholela kusona ke le statement lezi zaba khona ke nezinye futhi ke ingxoxo.
Yes. Now, when was this arrangement arrived at with accused number 2 and his legal representative? When was it finalized?
Well, on that day, when I left on the 23rd, my lord, there was this understanding that we should start making arrangements for the taking of the confession, which is what I've done, and subsequently then the date of the 24th, which is the following day, was then confirmed. After it was confirmed that the presiding officer will be available to assist with the confession in Boksburg.
Lokho ke uma ke ngihamba ke lelo langa yi23 ilapho ekwakuvunyelwene khona ke ukuthi ke angiqaleke ngenzeke lawo malungiselelo lawo ke ukuthi ke kuthathwe ke istatement kwase kunqunywa ke ukuthi ke kulanga elandelayo ngazo i24 kuzoyiwa ke kwimantshi eBoksburg.
And the understanding was that the attorney as well, my lord, Advocate Mjako, will be present. And indeed, even though I was not there, but when I received the document back, I noted that he was present.
Futhi ke okwavunyelwana ngakho ke ukuthi ke yena ke umjiyako wayezoba yingxenye ke noma wayezoba khona ke lapho eBoksburg uma kiwa kuyona ke imantshi noma ke ngangingekho lapho ngazo i24 kodwa uma ngabe sengithola ke manje istatement lesi ngabona ukuthi impela wayekhona lapho.
Just a minute. Yes. When did you receive the statement?
Yeah.
Exhibit JJ?
I don't remember, my lord. I don't recall. Because I was not there, as I said. Could have been a day, that evening or a day after, my lord, but I don't have a recollection, my lord, at this moment.
Angisakhumbuli ukuthi manje sithola ke statement lesi ngasithola nini nanjoba ngishilo ke ukuthi ngangingekho lapho istatement esasenziwa khona ke kungenze ukuthi ilelo langa lelo noma ke ngelanga elilandelayo kodwa ke angisakhumbuli.
But it was given to me, my lord. As a result, I filed it on the docket and followed things that were mentioned in the annex.
Kodwa ke ngasithola sona ngasifaka ke kulona ke idokodo ngase ngilandelela ke lokho okwakukhona ke noma kubhaliwe lapho.
Now, regarding Exhibit JJ, Mr. Ramusepeli put a certain proposition to Ms. Cronje, who took down the statement. She testified on the 17th of October 2020, page 7 of the record. If you can put the contents of that proposition by Mr. Ramusepeli on record, it appears as I say on page 7, proceedings of 17 October 2020.
That proposition of the question being put to the witness must be placed in its proper context, my lord. The entirety of the trial within the trial was conducted by Mr. Mngomezulu. So I think there should be a typo from the typist or something, my lord.
There should be what?
I think it's a typographical because I was representing both accused number 1 and 2, but the propositions were put by my learned colleague at the time.
Yeah, fine, but they're on record, are they not?
Yes. It doesn't really take the matter any distance, my lord. We will refer to the proposition by Mr. Mngomezulu. On page 71 of the proceedings of the 20th of October 2023, line 4 to 6, if you can just put that on record.
Yes, the propositions is as follows, my lord, from Mr. Mngomezulu. My instruction is that he has never or did not attach any initials and he did not sign any statement, especially in front of you.
Lana ke okushiwo yena ke uMr Mngomezulu ke ukuthi ke ngitshelwa ke umangalela noma umsola engimela ukuthi akakaze noma ke futhi ke abhaleke ama initials akhe ke noma lamagama la ama initials nokuthi futhi akakaze asayinde nasiphi istatement kakhulukazi phambi kwakho.
And the proposition went further to say he was taken to Germiston, where he was then made to sign this, to a place in Germiston where he was made to sign the statement.
Yes, my lord. So what I have in front of me in terms of WJ, Exhibit WJ, my lord, there is a portion for the deponent, and each page is initialed on Exhibit WJ. So it is initialed, and I'm referring to the document itself. So if one looks at the document, that proposition is not true, my lord.
So each page is initial.
Each, my lord. So I'm looking at annexure, from annexure. This is page 1. There is initial of the deponent. Page 2 of 9. There's initials of the deponent. And when I say deponent, my lord, I'm not saying it in isolation, because you have 1 by the magistrate, deponent, and the interpreter. So there's 3 on page 1. There's also 3 on page 2. There's 3 on page 3. On page 4, there is the magistrate and the deponent. Page 5, magistrate and the deponent and the interpreter. Page 6, there's 3 initials. Page 7, 3 initials. Then on page 8, there is a signature, and there's a signature for the deponent and the initials at the bottom, my lord. The magistrate and the interpreter also signed, but at page 9, there's also 3 initials, deponent also initialed. Then the annexures, the appointment certificate of the police officers who were there. The first one is Sergeant Mohane. There is initials similar to the one of the deponents. Same with page 2, which is the appointment certificate of Lisereng, one of the police officers. Page 3, appointment certificate of Jonathan. There is initials similar to the one of the deponent. The annexure A, my lord. There is a signature, initials similar to the deponent on page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, and page 6. So all pages are initialed by the signature that is appearing under deponent, my lord.
Lana ke kona onke ke lama page ke akhona ke ama initial asikhulumi ke ngokuthi asayindeke ngokuphelele, kodwa ke abhaleke lamagama la igama lakhe eliqala ngawo. Kwenziwe ke lokho ku page ngayodwa ke la uthola ukuthi ke imantshi isayindile noma ke yabeka ama initials ayo, kanye futhi ke nalowo wenza statement kanye naye ke utolika. Kwenziwe konke kuwona onke ama page.
So, Brigadier Gininda, in a nutshell, the upshot of that proposition is that the accused says he's not the source of this exhibit JJ.
My lord, I think Mrs. Kronje will be in a better position, because I don't want to be seen to be speaking on her behalf, because she took this. I can only comment on things that I know. What I know is that out of the discussions between the state and accused 2 and his attorney on the 23rd of June, arrangement was made that this document should be completed. And such arrangements then moved to the 24th of June, where Advocate Mjiaho, accused number 2, went to make this confession. Insofar as I know, he was there, he was the source. But obviously, if the insinuation or the point of contention is that, no, he didn't say this, I think Mrs. Kronje will be there. But I'm aware that there was an arrangement, there was a discussion. This document was then produced. After my lord, it was produced and given it to us. As I've said, the discussions continued with the state, and there was no indication that there's a disjuncture or a distancing between the 2 documents. This is now Exhibit HH and Exhibit JJ by the representative of accused number 2. The discussion went along, so they stood by what was there.
Lana ke umsolo wesibili ke uthi ke yena ke akusiyena ke umuntu ke owasho noma ke owakhuluma lokhu okubhaliwe lana ke ngicabanga ukuthi ke uMiskron uyena-ke ongayiphendulelake kulokhu nanjengoba mina-ke ngangingekho lapho ngabukeki sengathi ke ngiyamkhulumela kodwa engingakusho ukuthi ke ingxoxo lezi-ke noma kuyingxoxo ezazikhona-ke ngeyi-23 zikaJune 2020 yila ekwathatha khona-ke isinqumo sokuthi ke angiqale-ke ngenze ukuthi ke kuyobonwa yona-ke imanje ngazo i-24 zikaJune 2020 ngiyazi ukuthi wayekhona-ke lapho umsolo wesibili kanye futhi naye-ke ummeli wakhe futhi-ke kwabese kubhalwa-ke lokhu okubhaliwe-ke khona lana nanjengoba ngishilo-ke futhi ukuthi iy'ngxoxo zase ziqhubeka-ke futhi emuva kwalokho akaze ngizwe-ke ukuthi-ke kwakunesikhathi la khona-ke umsolo wesibili nommeli wakhe beyiqhelanisa-ke nalokhu okubhaliwe khona la.
Now, if you say there was no disjuncture between Exhibit JJ and the previous Exhibit HH, can you just maybe elaborate? What do you mean?
What I mean, my lord, is that, okay, if you look at what is contained in Exhibit HH and Exhibit JJ, the similarities are there. It's just that in Exhibit JJ, there's more elaboration, more content is given. But the essence of what you get, my lord, is the same. That's the first part.
Engakusho ukuthi ke kulamazibiti amabili ke uHH no JJ uma ke wabuka ke wabeka ndawonye ke uzobona ke ukuthi khona ke la ekufana khona ke ukuthi njena kuJJ ke ila khona ke ekunikezwa imininingwane eminingi ke ngaphezulu kwale enikeziwe la kuHH.
The second aspect, my lord, I was saying, insofar as the discussions that I said were taking place, there was no indication from the legal team of accused number 2 that there's a distance. You know, they stood by what was composed in Exhibit HH and Exhibit JJ, my lord. I'm saying this because even after the 23rd of June 2020, my lord, I didn't testify about this on the trial within trial, but there were instances where I had to arrange for Advocate Mjiako, who was an attorney at the time, with a certain advocate that he appointed to consult with accused 2. It was different dates, you know, where they will ask me and say, we need a permission to go in and consult. Can you make arrangements? So, and that was happening during those times of those negotiations, my lord.
Okunye futhi ke engathulanga ke ufakazi ngabo ke ukuthi ke manje bangishilo ukuthi ke kuye kwaqhubeka ke nasemuva ke kwazo i23 lezo ke unala ke uMjiyako ke owayese ummeli ke ngaleso sikhathi ke owayengicela ke ukuthi ke neadvocate ke owayesebenza naye ngaleso sikhathi bafisa ukuthi ke bahlanganeke naye umsolo wesibili ba consult noma bahlale phansi bakhulume naye ke.
Yes, my lord.
So on how many occasions did these consultations take place?
That's hearsay evidence. There is no evidence of such notes that have been presented before this court as evidence. No reference should be made to those conversations between those respective attorneys, my lord.
My lord, we are
Sorry, wait.
I don't know what
I thought this is Brigadier's
arrangements.
Gininda's arrangement. He says
Yes.
they arranged with him. There was a certain other advocate who apparently was instructed by Mjiako, who is an attorney. How can that be hearsay?
Yes, we're not referring to the content of the conversations.
No, fine. I'm just saying that's
Yes.
what he says.
Yes.
You were there, sir. Oh, you're just.
No, the request came to me, my lord. I was
Yes.
asked specifically to make those arrangements, and
Yeah,
I
fine.
did.
On how many occasions did you make those arrangements?
My lord, I will not be able to remember, but it was more than one occasions at the police station where I will make arrangements and then I will communicate back and then they will go in insofar as the feedback that will be given, my lord.
Thank you, my lord. It remains a hearsay, my lord, with due respect, to such an extent that the witness cannot even recall the number of those occasions, had at least a diary or any notes or any indication.
No. How is it? If I forget a fact, even if I was there, then it's hearsay. It's the first time I hear such law. First time.
My lord, if there is no evidence presented
what?
before the court regarding those arrangements that the witness is referring to, that he made an arrangement between the legal representative of an accused person and himself and any other persons, my lord, that ought to have been recorded. It's either from the
fine,
diary or
fine.
anywhere.
But
then
that is not hearsay. That is direct speech, direct evidence. That's how
As the court
I was
will-
taught the law.
it's a hearsay evidence, my lord.
Oh, I see.
So God, please,
That's new law.
we differ with respect from my colleague.
What is it? Is it direct evidence or hearsay evidence?
Well, is direct
When I
evidence.
talk to Mandela and say, "How Baba, Tata,"
He
Sithola nini
testifies.
inkululeko? Then he says, oh, you know what, mntanam, I've forgotten.
He testifies about what is within his personal knowledge.
Yeah, that's it, right. Okay, yes, let's go now.
Yes. In any case, you mentioned that you cannot remember the number of occasions that you had to make the arrangements.
Indeed, my Lord, yes.
Ushilo ukuthi awusawakhumbula amahlandla ukuthi kwakuwamahlandla mangaki ke becela ukuthi ke bafisa ukuthi ke bayohlangana nomsolo bakhulume naye.
Thank you. Then if we can closely examine what the accused stated in Exhibit JJ, if you can start on page 2.
Yes.
There's a paragraph B, there's a paragraph C,
Yes, my Lord.
and there is a sentence there. If you can then refer to the third paragraph.
So should I
Yes.
place it on record from the top, my Lord, right up to?
Yes, you can start right at the top,
All right.
just to give context.
Yes. So paragraph B, my Lord, says he is also informed that if necessary, he may be afforded protection against any irregularities, and that I will as soon as possible have any irregularity investigated by a senior police officer. C, that this is not a trial and that I am not hearing any charge against him. Then the question is, do you understand the explanation and do you accept it as correct? His answer is yes. Next question, do you wish to comment or have anything to say in this regard?
Can you stop there? Ifundeka ke ngalendlela noma ke uma echazelwa ke so
You're reading Mrs. Cronje's
Yes.
I'm reading Mrs. Cronje's confession, Exhibit JJ, my Lord, page 2 of Exhibit JJ.
yes, Mr. Baloyi. Is that necessary?
Well, there is a portion, my Lord, that we want to place on record, and also just to place the contents of the entire statement on record, my Lord. As we mentioned, this is with a view to Section 209, which we have placed on record, yes.
As the court places, my Lord, this information was placed on record by the magistrate herself, and it's before this court as evidence. What I thought we were dealing with were the contents of the statement to show markers of reliability or unreliability. That's where we are at, my Lord, as the court places.
Indeed, we are going to get to that point, my Lord, but
What does Section 209 say?
well, it says the accused may be found guilty on his confession if it's corroborated in a material respect, or if there's evidence aliunde to corroborate what is stated in the confession. So in other words, my Lord,
So that is evidence aliunde.
yes, in other words, apart from this, the state evidence, a court can still convict the accused on what he says in his confession. That is the effect thereof, my Lord.
Okay, fine.
Yes. But there's just, can we just put that portion, the answer to the question? Yes. It's
bese-
only that portion, just to allay the fears of my colleague.
bese etshelwa ke ukuthi uma sikhona ke isidingo uzovikelwa ke uma kukona kuphi na okungahambi ke ngendlela, nokuthi uma kuukuthi ke lokho ke ngiyachazelwa ke kuzothi kuphenywe ke uma ngabe khona ke iphoyisa ke mhlambi ke elisesikhundleni ke ephezulu ke elingaphathanga ngendlela nokuthi futhi lokhu akusikona ukuqulwa kwecala nokuthi ke angizange ukuthi ngizolalela ukuthi uthweswa lephi icala lana ingabe uyakuzwa yini lokhu okuchazelwayo noma futhi uyakwamukela yini. Impendulo yabe isisho ke ukuthi yebo kukhona yini ofisa ukuthi ke ukusho mayelana nalokho.
You just put the answer on record.
My Lord, his answer is, I believe I need to be protected from a group of people whom I was with when this whole thing was committed. I was already pointed with a finger as a warning when this thing was done, and I was still a young boy. I am not sure where else in Gauteng they have them or so. They were all grown ups at that time. I also do not trust the police since I believe they can be easily bribed.
Impendulo ke yabe isithi ke ngikholelwa ekuthini ke kudingeka ukuthi ngivikelwe kweqembu labantu enganginabo ngathi ke lokhu ukwenzeka ngase ngikhonjiwe ke ngomunwe ke nanjengesixwayiso ngathi ke lokhu kwenzeka ngangisengumfanyana omncane anginaso ke isiqiniseko sokuthi ke ikuphi nendawo la eGauteng ababeke baboshwa khona ke ngaphambilini babekhulileke noma bebadala kumina ke bonke ngaleso sikhathi leso angazi ke angiwathembi ke namaphoyisa ke nanjengoba ukuthi kulula ke ukuthi akwazelwe.
Did you have any comment regarding that, the fear of reprisals as mentioned here?
My Lord, all I can say is that I was once reported that, by one of the witnesses that there were threats in his life, and he specifically implicated one of the accused. So the similarities, I'm saying personally, I was informed by a witness to say there were threats in his life, and he was very specific insofar as implicating one of the accused.
Yes. Ingaba ke into ke lena ke ongathi nolwazi ke lwayo ke yebo ngasho ke ukuthi ke kunofakazi ke oweke weza ke kumina ke ezobika ke ukuthi ke usuke wasatshiswa ke ngaphambilini futhi ke wamusho ke ukuthi omunye ke wabasolo.
You've already referred to the evidence of Constable Zungu about an incident that happened on the 18th.
Yes, I was actually referring to him specifically, my Lord.
Ukusukhulumeleke ngobufakazi bakhe ke uZungu yebo bengikhuluma ngaye ke uma ngisho.
Thank you. We can then proceed to the statement itself, Annexure A.
All right. So Annexure A, my Lord. So it is page 10. But it's page 10 in terms of the sequence of the pages, but page 1 of the Annexure A, my Lord. It reads as follows. I used to work in Carltonville in 2014. I received a call from Sifiso Ntuli. He got my number from Mozi. They asked me to come to Basotho Hostel, Phosphorus. I came to Basotho Hostel and Sifiso called me to the bedroom. In the bedroom, it was myself, Sifiso and Mozi. While in the bedroom, Sifiso told me there was a job that evening.
Just
okay.
Allow the
ngangisebenza eCarltonville ngo-2014 ngathola ke ucingo olubuya kuSifiso Ntuli inamba yami wayithola kuMuzi bangicela ke ukuthi ngize eBasotho Hostel ePhosphorus ngeza ke eBasotho Hostel uSifiso ke wangibizela ekamereni khona lapho ke ekamereni kwakuyimina uSifiso kanye noMuzi sathi ke sise lapho. Yes,
yes, we mentioned as you go along, you mentioned that there was an indication from accused number 2 and his legal representative that they stand by what is stated in Exhibit HH. I'm sorry, if you can show the similarities as you go along.
Indeed. Should I show the similarities?
Yes.
All right.
Ushilo ke ukuthi ke nanjengoba bekhona lesi statement ke sokuqala esiwu-HH ukuthi ke akaze kube khona ke ukuthi beke nokuyiqhelanisa ke phakathi kwaMsolo wesibili nommeli wakhe ke nanjengoba uqhubeka ke ngizocela ukuthi kule statement ezimbili ke umane ukukhomba ke la ekufanayo khona ke noma ke ekhulunywa into eyodwa.
So the year, my lord, it's similar in that in exhibit HH and JJ, he mentions 2014. That is similar. You find it in both.
Kuzo zoyimbili ke le statement lezi zothola ukuthi ke khulunywa ngonyaka owodwa u2014.
The hostel's name, my lord, it's also similar.
Kanye futhi ke negama ke le hostel ke kubizwa ke igama elifanayo.
Name of the Muzisibia, although in here you say Muzisibia, Nkani, you know the name that I mentioned here. So far, my lord, I've not read exhibit JJ in full, but the name Muzi and Nkani Sifiso Ntuli is also contained in exhibit HH, my lord.
Namagama ke uJJ angamfundi wonke ke ngokupheleleke kodwa ke uma ngibuka ke thola ke amagama ke umuzi uSifiso Ntuli unkani ke akhona ke kuzona zombili.
Yes, you may proceed.
Okay, then it says Sifiso and Muzi left the hostel. I remained behind. Sifiso left the hostel. I remained behind and was drinking and chilling with my friends. Muzi called me to the Vivo vehicle later that evening. He was with Sifiso in the vehicle. When this thing initially happened, we were in Muzi's room and we proceeded, I suppose we proceeded to Sifiso's room number 1B. While in the room, in Sifiso's room, Carlos and Ntokoziseni Mapisa arrived.
Okay, sathi ke sesekameleni lapho ke uSifiso ke wasengitshelela ke ukuthi ke okay Sifiso. uSifiso noMuzi bahamba ke ehostel ngasala ke ngasemuva ke mina ke ngiphuza ngihlezi khona lapho nabangani bami uMuzi ke wasengibizela kwiVivo imoto yeVivo ngalabo busuku lobo waye kanye noSifiso kuleyo moto leyo uma ngabe lokhu kwenzeka ke sasisekameleni lakhe uMuzi saqhubeka ke saya kulona ke ikamela lika Sifiso uroom number 1B sathi ke sise lapho ikamela lika Sifiso uCarlos kanye noNtokoziseni Mapisa bafika.
Yes, any comparisons you wish to make?
Yes, my lord. The names now, Carlos and Mapisa, my lord, are also contained in exhibit HH, my lord.
Amagama ke lana uCarlos kanye noNtokoziseni Mapisa akhona ke nawo lana ke ku HH
as well as the meeting, my lord.
Kanye futhi nawo ke umhlangano.
And the vehicle mentioned therein?
The vehicle, my lord, so far it's mentioned as a Vivo. Let me just go back. Yes, it says a Vivo vehicle, my lord. So perhaps we'll deal with it at a later stage, my lord.
Thank you.
Lana ke imoto ekhulunywa ngayo khulunywa ke ngeVivo kulesi engisifundayo manje.
Yes, you may
Then
proceed.
furthermore, Carlos and Mtokoziseni Mapisa then called Kelly Kumalo. They told her that they were all right. We all then left in the Polo Vivo. It was myself, Carlos, Mtokoziseni Mapisa, Sifiso and Muzi.
uCarlos kanye noNtokoziseni Mapisa ke base beshayela ucingo yena ke uKelly Khumalo bamtshela ke ukuthi ke sesi kahle noma sesime ngomomo ke sahamba sonke ngayo iPolo Vivo kwakuyimina uCarlos uNtokoziseni Mapisa uSifiso kanye noMuzi.
My lord, then the name of Miss Kelly Kumalo is a similarity that appears now on both exhibits, and as well as the naming of accused two co-accused. He's mentioned them now as the people he departed with to the crime scene.
Lana ke manje siyaphinda siyabona ke okuhlanganayo ke nalesi statement bese sifundiwe ngaphambilini ila ekhulunywa khona ke ngegama lakhe uMiss Kelly Khumalo kanye futhi ke umsolo wesibili uyaqhubeka ke manje usechaza ke nabanye ke noma amanye amagama ethi labo ke ahamba nabo.
As well as now specifically the description of the car as a Polo Vivo, my lord, which is similar. Although there is mentioned silver, but it's the fact that the name Polo is also mentioned, my lord.
Futhi ke negama ke manje le moto iPolo Vivo noma ke ngalena kwesinye ke statement lesi bashilo eshilo ke ukuthi ke iPolo Vivo esilver kodwa manje uyayibiza ke moto uthi iPolo Vivo.
Then it goes further, my lord, to say at the stop sign another Polo Vivo came and Carlos Mthokoziseni Mapisa, Sifiso and Muzi alighted the vehicle. I remained behind. They spoke amongst themselves and they spoke with Simpiwe, who came in the other Polo Vivo vehicle. Simpiwe gave Mthokoziseni 2 firearms.
Sathi ke uma sifika ke ku stop ke noma ke stop sign ke kwaqhamuka ke enye ke iPolo Vivo uCarlos Mthokoziseni Mapisa uSifiso kanye noMuzi baphuma ke emotweni ngasala ngasemuva mina bakhuluma ke bayikhulumela bona ke futhi ke bakhuluma noSimpiwe owayefike ngenye iPolo Vivo uSimpiwe wanikeza ke uMthokoziseni ibhame ezimbili.
Should I proceed?
Yes, you can proceed.
We then left. We went to the township Fosoras. At Fosoras stop one. At Fosoras stopped one.
We stopped the vehicle.
We then left. We went to the township Fosoras. At Fosoras, we stopped the vehicle. A call came in, I think it was Kelly, and Carlos kept on referring to this person as sisters. Carlos got out of the vehicle to take this call, whereafter he called Mapisa, Sifiso and Muzi out of the vehicle. They had a meeting outside of the vehicle. They came back to the vehicle. Mthokoziseni took out a firearm and gave it to Carlos. Muzi had his own firearm. Sifiso had his own firearm.
Okay. Sase sihamba ke siya ke elokishini eFosloras samisa ke imoto kwangena ke ucingo ngicabanga ukuthi kwakuwuKelly ngoba ke kanye futhi ke noCarlos wayemane njalo nje ethi ke kulomuntu sisters uCarlos waphuma ke emotweni ukuyophendula lona lo cingo lolo emuva kwalokho ke wabiza ke uMapisa uSifiso uMuzi babaphuma ke emotweni baba nomhlangano ngaphandle kwemoto babuya ke bebuyela emotweni uMthokoziseni wakhipha isibhamu wasinikeza uCarlos uMuzi wayenesakhe isibhamu uSifise wayenesakhe isibhamu.
My lord, the correlation here is that on both exhibits it's mentioned that it's alleged that the instruction came from Miss Kelly Khumalo. So that's the common part, my lord.
Okunye futhi okubhekayo ke noma uma ubuka ke ukuthi kuzona zoyimbili le statement lezi ke kuyasho ke ukuthi ke umlomo ke wawubuya ke noma ke izwi ke labuya ke na ke uMiss Kelly Khumalo ukuthi akwenziwe lokho.
Then it goes further to say I was the only one without a firearm.
Sifiso had his own firearm.
Okay, wait. Okay, Sifiso had his own firearm. I was the only one without a firearm.
Yes, then there's an insertion. I had a small one in my pocket.
Yeah, but I can't read this in session proper,
Yes,
my lord.
yes.
Yeah.
It's already on record. I had a small one in my pocket, but I didn't use it.
Okay, my lord.
It was given to me in the vehicle. You may proceed.
All right, my lord. Then it says,
Carol said to us,
Carol said to us, we all had to be positioned since we all were going to hit Senzo Meyiwa. We then all got out of the vehicle. Sifiso was the driver. Muzi was the lookout. Mapisa went to stand by the window, also a lookout for someone who might come out of the window. Carlos,
Yeah, just give the interpreter chance.
Kwakuyimina kuphela ke owayengenaso ke wayengenaso ekuyesami sikhona ke esincane enganginaso ke kodwa ke angangisebenzisanga ke ngasinikezwa emotweni uCarlos washo ke kuthina ukuthi ke kuzofanele ke sime kahle ke noma sime ngendawo ke kahle nanjengoba sonke ke sasizomshaya uSenzo sasesiphuma ke emotweni uSifiso uyena kwakuumshayeli umuzi uyena ke owayezobheka uMaphisa naye ke wahamba wayoma ke ngase fasteleni naye ke wayezobheka futhi uma ngenzeka ke ukuthi kube nomuntu ophuma ngalo ifastela.
Carlos and I was supposed to get in the house. When we got to the house, he pulled out a firearm. He ordered everyone to lie down and demanded phones and money.
uCarlos nami ke kwakufanele ukuthi ke kwakumele ukuthi ke singeneke phakathi endlini uma ngabe sesingenile ke endlini wakhipha isibhamu wasetshela wonke umuntu ke ukuthi alale phansi wafuna futhi ke amafoni nemali.
My lord, what is also common with the exhibit is the demand of cell phones and money, my lord. You find it in these two exhibits, my lord.
Okunye futhi ke lana ke okufanayo ke okutholayo kuzona zoyimbili leitatimende ke ila ekufuna khona ke ama cell phones kanye nemali.
And that also accused 2 alleges that he went in with accused 3, my lord.
Nokuthi futhi ke umsolo wesibili uyasho ke ukuthi ke wangena nomsolo wesithathu.
Carlos then gave me a phone. I had a plastic bag with me. There was a plastic container on the table with money. Carlos gave me the container, which I put in the plastic bag.
uCarlos wanginikeza iphone ngangine plastic enganginawo kumina ke kwakukhona futhi ke no container we plastic owawukhona ke phezulu kwetafula owawunemali uCarlos wanginikeza lo container lo engayifaka ke kwi bag leyo ye plastic.
The similarities as well, my lord, with the two exhibits is the container, the fact that there was a container with money that was taken. And I did mention that it was not mentioned on the witness statements, but on the two exhibits, WJ and HH, it is mentioned, my lord, the container.
Okunye futhi ke khulunywa ngako ke kuzona zoyimbili leitatimende lezi ke ile container lena eyayinemali ke ngishilo ukuthi kuyistatimende zabo ofakazi ke akekho okhulumela ngayo ke le mali noma le container le eyayinemali kodwa ke kuzona zombili istatimende kuyakhulunywa ngayo.
And furthermore, my lord, that the cell phone was taken by accused 2, the deponent in this matter.
Nokunye futhi ke ukuthi ke kunamakhala ekhukhwini ke noma ke cell phone eyathathwa ke uyena umsolo wesibili okuyena ke owenza istatimende lesi.
On both exhibits, my lord.
Kuzona zoyimbili istatimende lesi.
Is the court please, my lord, will it be an appropriate time to call it a day?
That's so. Okay.
3:23.
It's still available tomorrow.
Yes.
It's the 20 November.
No. I'm only available this week, my lord, and that week up to Friday because my exams is on the 12th. So
All right.
the 11th is on Monday. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm available.
Okay, thanks. Then adjourn until tomorrow 10.